What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and finally, welcome back to the Indianapolis Colts Madden NFL 26 franchise. We're finally into season number 2. I know it took a while. I always say this, I always do this every time I record some Madden content, but yes, we are finally back with some Madden content for Indianapolis Colts franchise, and we're finally jumping into season 2. And what a way to open up by playing against the Green Bay Packers. Last episode, we went through the entire preseason. We sped through it. We went 1-2, thrashing the Vikings, but not doing so great against the Giants and the Seahawks. We got a little glimpse of Anthony Richardson as well as Riley Leonard, who we didn't see much of throughout the regular season last year, and our newly acquired Rich Yates. Not too much of Rich Yates. Riley Leonard, I think, played the best out of the three. He didn't really turn the ball over that much. His accuracy numbers aren't really the best, but they're certainly not the worst. Richardson struggled a lot. He threw a lot of interceptions throughout the preseason, and it was quite a struggle for him, so he will not start, at least not now. We got Rich Yates in the draft in the 6th round. His accuracy splits were pretty nice. I like the 84 to short accuracy, 90 throw power overall. We got the Green Bay Packers, and of course they're led by Micah Parsons, who they acquired last season in real life. I got the game after he was traded to the Packers, so the trade stuck. I didn't have to make the trade manually. But he had probably the best season he's had in a while. 22 TFLs, 14.5 tackles for loss. And what a way to open up year number 1. He also had a forced fumble, so he keeps that streak going. But a great start on a new team and on a better team than he was on Dallas. Not Dallas hater, just saying. Jordan Love, I thought he lost superstar development. I don't remember if he actually had superstar development at one point. Probably always had star development, I guess. But he also had probably his best year that he's had in his entire career as well. Over 30 touchdowns, 33. Not a lot of interceptions. His completion percentage was pretty solid. Now, this team was an 11-win team last year and made it all the way to the NFC Championship before falling to the 49ers. So this Packers squad had a chance to go to the Super Bowl to take on the Raiders, who would ultimately win it. And speaking of the Raiders, the former Raider, Josh Jacobs, in year number 2, he was the best running back of the year, and for obvious reasons, 22 total touchdowns throughout the entire course of the season. He had the second highest rushing yards, which is only second to, of course, our Jonathan Taylor. So funny enough, the number 1 and number 2 running backs go head to head in Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs in this episode. How pretty convenient. This team also picked up Kendre Miller from a trade in the Saints with the Saints during the offseason. From the receiving core, they are led by Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden, and this team has a lot of strengths, not a lot of weaknesses. Will Hernandez, their defense is probably some of the best in the league. Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gray, Quay Walker. Got Nate Hobbs, who's at superstar development. He's also a former Raider. I believe he unlocked it at some point. I don't know when, but I look at his stats and I see why. 74 tackles with 3 interceptions, the most he's had in a season. Then have Xavier McKinney, who also has superstar development. And he stepped up. I think he had a pretty solid year in Green Bay. He's looking at carry that over with this Green Bay team in 2026, I guess, that you account this year. Green Bay Packers looking to right their wrongs from last season, not making it just NFC Championship where they always lose, but to the Super Bowl. Tyler Warren was another player for us who unlocked superstar development, had a solid rookie year, was not rookie of the year, but solid numbers. He was number 2 in our receiving core, only second to Josh Downs. JT Tuimoloau, defensive rookie of the year last season, he made his presence felt on our team. Probably the best defensive player overall on our team, especially in the edge rushing front. Forrest Buckner, he had a pretty down year, 2.5 sacks last year, the least he's had in quite some time, and he's looking to step it up. He needs to. His contract is expiring at the end of this year, so if he wants to get re-signed, he's got to prove it. Javarius Ward also unlocked superstar X Factor last year with 4 interceptions. We were a team that could not really get a lot of interceptions last season, especially in the first half, but we picked up in the second half, and we're looking to carry that over this year and have our defenses being hopefully one of the top defenses in the league. We did have a few new acquisitions, and Drew Tranquil was one of them in the linebacker position at the will position. Former Kansas City Chiefs, who signed him to a 2-year deal. Not anything crazy, not anything too big, just something to kind of help this defense out because the defense was terrible last year. Coley Oliver was our 2nd round pick as well in the draft. Solid splits, Great tackler, great against the run. Not amazing against the pass, but he certainly is better than Christopher Weathers, who was horrible against the pass, but excels in getting to the quarterback, playing against the run. Not so much in man coverage or zone coverage, so him and Colby Oliver, that's really the biggest thing they're going to have to develop throughout this season as we go through the course of year number 2. Which are the biggest issues with this team is pass coverage. I was looking through some of the changes throughout the transaction period, and Andre Yoshivas, I don't know if I'm saying his name wrong or right, was released by the Bengals, which is crazy because he had over 1,000 yards last year. They replaced him with Tutu Atwell and rookie Gabe Morrow, even Mellow Cheeks. So they're going with the more younger receiving core. They're still with their core, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Now, I thought Yoshivas was taking a lot of the touches from Higgins, but he actually wasn't. He just took a lot of the touchdowns. T. Higgins only had 3 last year. He had close to 1,000 yards. He was the third. He had the third most receiving yards on this team. So I kind of find it shocking that they did end up getting rid of him. We will meet up with the Bengals in week number 7 this year. We did play against them last year in the preseason, so it will be interesting to play against Joe Burrow and see how he matches up against a quarterback as good as him. Now, of course, we always do detraining. I don't show these off because they're not really much to show, but Christopher Weathers ended up unlocking superstar development, which is crazy since we don't actually know what his development is yet. We can assume that it's at least star development, but now it's going to get a huge boost with the superstar development, and that's just another defensive player who's going to play a key role on this team, and that just means he's going to develop a lot quicker. Through training, we did have one small injury. It's not anything crazy. In fact, it is actually. Kalijah Kancey, shoulder strain. He will miss this game, which is pretty important because Kalijah Kancey, in my opinion, was easily the best interior defender for us, better than DeForest Buckner. As you saw for Buckner's stats, he only had 2.5 sacks. He is better on paper, but Kalijah Kancey is younger and has not as much to prove. So we are bringing in Forlantu Fadukasi, who we did pick up in the offseason for reasons like this, in case we did have an injury in the interior defensive line, whether it be to Buckner or to Kalijah Kancey. We did have a backup plan. We are going to gear up at Lucas Oil Stadium. We host our first game of the new campaign, so it should be exciting. I know, like I said, it took a while to get to this point. I always say that it won't, but it ends up happening anyways. That's just how life has come to be for me. But hopefully it won't take as long as it usually does. Packers last year, they were 11-6. We were not that bad, but we certainly weren't a whole lot better. I want to say, I don't know how I don't remember what our record was last year. I feel like we were 7-10, but we probably were 8-9, just missing the playoffs. But I have a feeling we were 7-10 because there's no way I think we were 8-9. So we get up underway for the new campaign in the Indianapolis Colts franchise, and it's going to be returned by Jonathan Beltran. He was drafted back in the 7th round of the draft, as we released the other receiver. We got Owen Beeler. As there is a Colts shaking up on the field, it is Jalen Carlisle, who suffered a lot of injuries last year for us. Wasn't really on the field that much. So we're gonna open up the offense in year number 2. Riley Leonard is gonna open things up, hand off to Jonathan Taylor, untouched until he reaches about halfway, about midfield, or down at the 49-yard line. The guy who just carries this offense did it all last year. Hopefully can do it again this year, as Riley Leonard fires the left side to Tyler Warren. And looking for him to get a increased role, him to get a lot more touches than he did last year. That's, of course, what I want to see. 2nd and 4. We're already at the 27, and off to Jonathan Taylor. Not much. Gets half the yardage needed. Now it's a 3rd and 2. More manageable 3rd and 2. Instead of it being just 3rd and 4. Leonard got the start after outplaying Anthony Richardson during the preseason, as he'll fire it up the middle, and it's back to Warren for another 1st down. Warren has some of the best hands on this team. I know Josh Downs got most of the touches, but Josh Downs is pretty tough. Just not great hands. As Leonard misfires, is meant for Josh Downs. Overthrows him. So instead, it's now second down as the Colts try to edge into the end zone for their first drive of the game. Hand off to Jonathan Taylor. He's got nowhere to go. Not many times you'll see him get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Micah Parsons will do it to you. 3rd and 10, Leonard to throw. He will be incomplete, meant for Pittman. Good job by the defense to hold out when it mattered the most. And now will leave Indianapolis to make a field goal. So now it's 3-0. Now it's the Green Bay Packers' turn. As Minnesota Vikings fan, I hate the Pack. And speaking of which, Josh Jacobs is going to break a tackle, and he's going to do the same thing Jonathan Taylor did on his first run and get an easy first down. Like I said earlier, it's the number 1 and number 2 running backs going head-to-head today. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. Play action fake meant by Jordan Love, incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 7. Clearly is shaken up on the field. Now it's 3rd and 7 for Love and the Pack. As he'll back up the middle. That is caught and hauled in by Matthew Golden. As he'll move the chains and reset the downs. And they're already in Indianapolis territory. Hand off to Jacobs. He gets stuffed. Loss of 3. And guess who it is? JT Tuimalu involved. Looking for him to be hopefully Defensive Player of the Year. I know that's a stretch, but that's something I really want to see. Check down to Tucker Kraft, and he is down the 4. He gets past the first down marker, so that leads the Packers to kick about a 45-yard field goal, probably 47. Either way, it's in between the uprights, and it is good. But the Packers will not take the lead, tie the game up at 3 apiece. We're putting Leonard in the spotlight. I hate to do it, but with Richardson being inconsistent, you kind of need to trust in him. First touch for DJ Giddens on the day. He will get 5 yards. We're looking to give DJ Giddens an increased role this year, get him a lot more touches instead of having Jonathan Taylor pave the way for us. Speaking of which, he'll get 4 yards to make it 3rd and 1. And then the Packers will stuff the defense, expecting a run. 3rd and 1 for the Colts. Letting time run, trying to get the defense to jump. They won't. Hand off to Taylor, and the offensive line creates just enough of a hole to get the first down, and a lot more for Jonathan Taylor. He gets to midfield. You would think he would have lost a few yards, but the offensive line doing their job. 1st and 10 to the right side. That is caught by Adonai Mitchell. Shakes off a defender and is down at the 36. Adonai Mitchell is going to play a lot more receiver this year. Even though we had Tyler Warren, we experimented with him playing receiver. I think with no Molly Cox, I think Tyler Warren's going to play a lot more tight end, and Adonai Mitchell's going to get a lot more playing time. And off to Jonathan Taylor on the left side, loss of 2. This is the defense we've got to watch out for. The Packers have a really good defensive squad, as we already looked at. Offensively, I think they're solid, but defensively, I think they're better. A lot of time for Leonard. He will check it down to Giddens, and he'll get those 2 yards back, but all for naught. But it's a 50-plus yard field goal for Spencer Schrader. We re-signed him, and it is up in the middle. He didn't miss a kick all year last year, and he still hasn't yet, even though it is the start of the year, so it might be jinxing it. 6-3 Love, deep downfield, incomplete. Had a first down and a lot more. So now it's 3rd and 5. Love, he'll step back. He'll throw up the middle again. This time it is caught. High throw over Kenny Moore's head. That's a nice throw by Jordan Love for Romeo Doubs. With the dumb helmets. I kind of wish I didn't add those helmets in the game because they look kind of stupid. But anyway, that's a really good throw by Jordan Love. High enough to where Kenny Moore doesn't make a play on it. And we're closing in at the end of the first quarter. Love to throw again to the right side. That is caught by Dubs again. Kept his feet in bounds. So now the Packers set at just a little past the 30. Love to throw again. He is taken down this time. Zaire Franklin, who we didn't talk too much about, but he played a pivotal role on the defensive side for us. Most tackles by a Colt, at least last season. Most tackles in the entire season. Wide open to the left side is Tucker Kraft, as he will run out of bounds. As we are now in the second quarter. Packers now inside the 10. Chance to get the first touchdown of the game. Love to throw. Then the Up in the end zone, incomplete. Kenny Moore had a pick. He does not, so it's 4th and goal. They'll kick another field goal. It is good. So once again, the game is tied at 6 apiece. As here comes Riley Leonard on the offense, tossing it to Jonathan Taylor. Great blocking on the right side, and could have broken that tackle from McKinney. If he does, he's likely gone. But still a big play. 3rd and 7 now to the right side. That is incomplete. Mitchell could not hold on to it, and we will see our first punt of the game. Or non-scoring drive, I guess. 3rd and 4, Love up the middle. Nice job reaching for Josh Jacobs. Just enough room. Resets it down. 2nd and 1 for the Packers now. Fakes the handoff. A really slow play. And it is almost caught. Could have been picked up by Weathers. The Weathers not really looking at the football. And that's just one of the areas where he does need to improve. Like I said, is his pass coverage. And then the usual CPU QB sneak, it does go through. I wish Madden would change that too. But, you know, this isn't a complaint about Madden. We're not doing that. Hand off to Jacobs. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet. Down at the 39. And this is the Josh Jacobs that we've got to deal with tonight. Or I guess it'll be today, not tonight. Hand off to Jacobs again. Shakes off Zaire Franklin. And he's got another 1st down. Proving why he was the #1 running back last season. Jordan Love to throw left side. That is caught for a gain of 9. We wish that Anna Mitchell would have done the same thing. A 3rd and 1 for the Pack. Man in motion. Love will hand it off to Jacobs, and that is down. Or he is down, sorry. Loss of 4. Latu was there to lay the lumber. And Josh Jacobs, I think, just ran the wrong way. He ran straight into Latu instead of going inside. That forces another field goal by the Packers, and they will take their first lead of the game, as it's now 9-6. Put that backwards. Funny joke. 3rd and 7 for the Colts and Leonard. He will check it down to Taylor, and he won't get much. Gain of 5, but not enough. Nate Hobbs with the tackle. And the Packers get the ball back again. Not much offense from the Colts in the 2nd quarter. Another 1st down for the Packers, looking for their 1st touchdown of the game and the 1st touchdown overall in the game. Jordan Love up the middle. That's caught by Romeo Doubs again. The key factor in this Packers offense so far. We can't really stop their pass game. That was something we struggled with a lot last year, looking to improve it. And up the middle, that is caught. And in the end zone for a Packers touchdown, the 1st of the game. Man-to-man coverage, and he just got beat. Sir Matthew Golden, Javarius Ward, 3 steps away from him. And the Packers will increase this lead by 9. Then Leonard, he is taken down. Loss of 4. Not sure who that was. The Colts will use a timeout. It's now 3rd and 5. We're going to let the clock run. They don't get the ball after half. So pretty risky. And then fakes a throw, and it's incomplete. I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally double tapped the button. So that's on me. But after the 1st half, it looked like just a defensive game. And now all of a sudden, the Packers lead by 10. 16-6. And now we're going to see the halftime report. The first one in a while, guys. I know it's been a while. The first will start with the Philadelphia Eagles, who host the Washington Commanders. We play Philly in week 3. And it is the Eagles and Jalen Hurts who get past Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. 28-24 win for Philly to start the year. They made it. They were 1 and done in the playoffs last year. Surprisingly enough, I don't know how, but they were. Next, we'll see Josh Allen and Jawan Stewart make his debut in the NFL in his first start. Pretty foggy and rainy right now. It's not going as planned for the Jets. Dalton Kincaid jumping over a defender, and Jawan Stewart will unfortunately lose his first game, not even having a touchdown. So not the outing the rookie really wanted, the number 4 pick. And the Panthers, who I have high hopes for this year, behind Bryce Young, and the Falcons will go head-to-head, or are going head-to-head, sorry. This is a nice juke move. And the Panthers killed the Falcons. 42-17, Bryce Young beating Michael Penix. We see Arizona dogging Minnesota 20-9, or dogged. Sorry, I forget we're an afternoon game. We're not a game early game, so we are in the middle of the afternoon. But how this game is going, it looked close after the first quarter, but then the Packers managed to get away. Their offense doing a lot better than ours. So we got to make some changes and switch things up. Riley Leonard not having the best outing. Not the worst, but not the best. Jordan Love is torching us in the air. We haven't really had a way to stop him. And the Packers start with the ball first, which is not ideal. We're already down by 2 possessions. Heading off to Josh Jacobs. Runs over, I believe that's Cameron Bynum. Doesn't get the first, but it's 3rd and 1. The Colts need to figure things out on defense if they want to win this ball game. Hand off to Jacobs, and there's an easy hole. First down and a lot more down at the 45. And Josh Jacobs doesn't have a lot of yards on his resume today, but that doesn't matter. It's all about what you do with it. Jordan Love with the flash and fake. That is caught. First down over Nick Cross's head. And these are the things we struggled with last season. And that's letting quarterbacks do whatever the hell they wanted. 1st and 10 for Love, didn't run it, and it's intercepted. Jalen Jones, and finally we get some sort of stop on the defensive end. And it's our boy Jalen Jones, the 3rd corner on the team. He's not the slot. He plays on the right side usually. That's the first turnover of the game, and now Jonathan Taylor will move down the field, and that's exactly what we need in this game to make a comeback. Love, he only had 7 interceptions last year, and we're a team that through 8 games, the first 8 games of the year, we only had 4 interceptions. I always bring it up because of how terrible it was. So we ended the year with about 17. Nothing for Jonathan Taylor there. He is down for a loss of 2. This offense really needs to get kicking. Up the middle, caught by Mitchell. He's got a lot of room. Nice juke move down at the 46, about 45. There's a play by the offense that we needed outside of Jonathan Taylor. First down, play action fake to the left side. That is incomplete. Another overthrow by Leonard. He's missed a few of those. 3rd and 11. Leonard not the most accurate quarterback to the left side. That one is caught. First down for Josh Downs. Finally getting him involved in the offense. New set of downs, handoff to Taylor. Finds the blockers, and he's in the end zone. And the Colts will finally score a touchdown, the first of the year. And who else but JT Jonathan Taylor to kick things off, as we turn it into now a 3-point game, a field goal game. We've been holding this Packers team down defensively. Defense has been doing a pretty good job. Yardage wise, not so much, but overall defensively, we've been pretty good. We've held the Packers so far to 16 points, and we're looking to keep it that way. 3rd and 1 for the Packers. Hand off to Jacobs, and he's got a lane. He's taken out at the 50. He was untouched till he gets there. Another first down for Josh Jacobs. We have no answer for him so far. Very few and far stops against him today in the afternoon. And now Jordan Love, he will throw up the middle. That is caught by Dubs again. He's got 8 catches right now. And Jalen Jones having a hard time sticking him. 3rd and 8. Wide open, and that's incomplete as it hits the back of Kraft. Never turned around for the football. And now the Packers will go for about a 50-yard field goal. They do make it. It's now 19-13. So now the Green Bay Packers lead by really a touchdown. 2nd and 5. We are going to run it. There's a flag on the defense, so it is a free play essentially. And it is what? I don't know. It is offsides on Warren Barron. So we'll get a first down regardless. Play action fake now for Leonard. Needs to get going to the right side, incomplete. And then for Warren. A lot of these passes have been either overthrown or dropped. I don't want to put it all on Leonard, but opening week jitters. On the run, that's incomplete in double coverage. Riley Leonard has made some pretty good decisions throwing this football. It just has not worked out in his favor, and we're still trailing by 6. Hand off to Jacobs. He says, "Get off of me." And he gets a 5-yard pickup. Josh Jacobs doing Josh Jacobs things. He did it in Las Vegas. And I was really able to shine in Green Bay. Screenplay for him. He's free until he's pushed out of bounds. Has reached the 2-minute mark in the third quarter. Now this Colts defense needs to figure out what they're gonna do because they haven't really been able to stop this offense, and nothing's working. They put pressure on Love, and it works because Love is sacked. And who is it? Tyquan Lewis. He was a free agent. We actually re-signed him for another year. And we put him in the game, of course, with Elijah Cansey being out, and he steps up and gets a sack. Good to see the old man doing what he needs to. So now it's 3rd and 11. Can we prevent the first down here? They go with the screenplay for Kraft. They did this earlier, and he loses the football. It's picked up by Franklin. Forced the second turnover of the game. And in great field position. And that's another thing the defense needed. We scored the last time we forced the turnover. This would be reviewed, actually. And it was actually reviewed that he dropped the ball only after he hit the ground. Look at it again. Tucker Kraft, he's hit around his ankle, and he loses the football after his shoulder or elbow hits the ground. So unfortunately, he was ruled down by contact. So at the end of the day, it is not a turnover, which is very unfortunate because that was what we needed the most. We struggled to really push this ball down the field. And now we have to do it again. 1st and 10, we're in the 4th quarter now. Hand off to Taylor. He's stuffed. Loss of 2 again. I haven't heard much of Micah Parsons' name. He hasn't done much. That's Rashawn Gary, who in real life was traded, I believe, to Dallas. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. 2nd and 12 now. Man in motion is Adonai Mitchell dancing. No one's following him. And the pass up the middle to Downs, and that's it. Fumbled. Picked up by the Packers defense. Back-to-back fumbles. Did I forget to mention Andrew Cooper? Because he's on this team too. But now the Packers will pick the football up. I don't think that's a fumble. If you look at the replay, I think he got the same animation as Kraft did. He would be down. They would not review it at all, and we couldn't challenge it. So I looked at the replay because I thought he was clearly down by contact. As look at it again, he takes a shot, and I think he is down. He doesn't really lose control of the football till his hand hits the ground, which around the same time as his knee does. I think he's down by contact. I don't think that's a fumble at all. The refs say otherwise. So we might have just gotten screwed by the refs. Now it's 3rd and 7. Love to throw. Finds his target on the left side. That is caught for a 1st down. We haven't really heard of Jaden Reed's name much. The Packers have possession of the football. I think we got screwed by the refs. They want the Packers to win the whole thing. New set of downs for Jordan Love now. He'll hand this off to Jacobs. And he is met around the line of scrimmage by Franklin. Now all momentum on Green Bay's side. They have at least a field goal, barring they don't turn this football over to make it a 2-possession game and put pressure on the Colts. Up the middle, caught by Dubs. He'll fight for the 1st down. He's been a problem for us all day. I don't know why. We can't cover him. Just can't stop him. 2nd and goal now for the Packers at the 10. Love to the right side. That's batted down. Incomplete. Travarius Ward is there. 3rd and goal now. Love to throw again. Running away. Buying time. He is sacked for a loss of about 5. It is Franklin again. Franklin carrying over what he did last year to this year and being a presence in almost every area of the field. This will force the Packers to kick a field goal to make it a 2-possession game again, and it is good. The Packers now lead 22-13. This game is not out of reach, but how much our offense has truly struggled, it feels like it. Leonard checks it down to Josh Downs, and Josh Downs will go down with it. I know a lot of downs, but he is down, whatever, nonetheless. And there's an injury on the Packers side of the field. Hopefully nothing major for them. At least for us, maybe it is. 2nd and 6, Leonard to throw. Buying time deep downfield. Pass is incomplete. Batted away. It's been that kind of day. See him on the ground. It's been that kind of day for Riley Leonard. Hasn't really had it pretty. 3rd and 6. Hit as he throws. It's meant for Warren, who can't keep it. Edrin Cooper involved in the play. And we're going to have to go for it on 4th and 6. Keep the offense on the field. This is what we need. Up the middle. That's incomplete for Warren. And it's Cooper again who makes the stop. And the Packers will get the ball back. And that was what we needed. Remember why I credited Warren's hands? He hasn't really showcased them in this game. And then wide open is Tucker Kraft. He's uncovered and he makes his way. He marches his way into the end zone. Where was the defense on Tucker Kraft? I have no idea. If we review it and look, Tony Adams was meant to cover him, and he never did. He was on the complete wrong side of the field. The Packers are going to go for 2, try to make it a 17-point game. That pass is a little overthrown and incomplete, so it will remain a 15-point game. Still a 2-possession matchup. They want it to be 3. 2nd and 6 up the middle. That is somehow caught. A little overthrown, but is caught. And we are going to hurry up the offense. We have 6 minutes left. This game is not completely out of reach, but it's starting to get there with the offense struggling and with the Packers just doing whatever they want. Packers showing a lot of pressure. There is a blitz. Nice screenplay for Tyler Warren to get him involved. Outside the numbers, he'll be taken out at the 27-yard line. As the Colts finally get a good play and move the chains. It's been a while since that's happened. 1st and 10. Leonard to throw. Pass is intercepted by Nate Hobbs. Now that time that was on me. I wanted to force a big play. He wasn't really covered. He had a step on his target. Tyler Warren was the better option. He was not really tightly covered by Nate Hobbs, but Conklin was there. He had a step on his guy. Should have been a high throw. But the Packers will get the ball back again, and this allows them to waste more clock. We're already down 28-13, and then Tucker Kraft breaks away from Cross. And there's a deep throw, not really a deep throw, a short throw that goes all the way to the 40. And this is just getting worse and worse for wear. 3rd and 2 now for the Packers. And Love, a late handoff or a play action. He will be sacked. I don't know what the heck was happening there. But the Colts will use an early timeout, the 42-minute warning. If the Packers make this field goal, which they do, it's an 18-point game. It's not out of reach, but it's slowly feeling like that. Riley Leonard, a lot of time. He's sacked, loses the football, picked up by the defense. And the defense scores. Marches their way into the end zone again. It's the rookie Jamie Price. What a way to get his first touchdown of his career. Leonard running away, trying to buy time, loses the football. He's sacked by 2 guys. Micah Parsons wasn't included, who, by the way, was number 1 earlier. I said that was Cooper. I read that wrong. Screenplay for Jonathan Taylor, and nothing is going our way because he is watched the entire time. Loss of 5. 3rd and 15 to throw. That is deep and overthrown and intercepted. The 3rd turnover in this quarter by Riley Leonard. Xavier McKinney picks it off. And this game is over. 38-13 loss on opening week. Not the type of game he wanted to play here. It was just terrible really the whole way through. Our offense didn't do much of anything outside of the first half. I'd argue just that Jonathan Taylor play was anything good. But this team struggled all the way. Riley Leonard was never really comfortable in this game, and we couldn't stop anything the Packers were realistically doing. It was just a struggle fest the entire game. The defense played strong. I said this defense was tough, and they proved to be just that. A lot of overthrows and drop passes from not from Riley Leonard, but a lot of overthrows and drop passes in this game. So clearly we have to get back on regular season, thinking about the regular season and potentially the playoffs, and not thinking about this being the preseason and losing every single game. This play, I think, was what really broke everything for us. Tony Adams not covering Tucker Kraft. I don't really know why he wasn't. I guess it's just a thing in Madden where sometimes You pick a play, it's a man play, and they're just not covering their guy. But you see, Jordan Love had over 400 yards, a little bit over 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, 75 completion percentage. Riley Leonard didn't really have it pretty. 2 interceptions, did not get a touchdown. Completion percentage was not there either, a little over 50%. Hopefully, this isn't a reoccurring thing throughout the year. Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor went at it as we expected. I think Taylor played slightly better. That's mainly because he was forced to have to. But they still played really good. The number 1 and number 2 running backs duking it out. Kraft and Dubs basically torched us in the receiving core. Jaden Reed, not much from him, but he did what he could. Not much from us either. I mean, in the receiving core, Jonathan Taylor was our leading receiver, which goes to show how much we had to rely on him throughout this entire game. There were a lot of sacks. Zaire Franklin had 2.5. Micah Parsons had 1. There were also a few interceptions. We had 1 to the Packers 2. And forced fumbles, a lot of turnovers in this game. He had a total of 4. Bryce Young and Shamar Turner were NFC Players of the Week, and Zaire Franklin won, but Joe Burrow did for the offense. Let's look at the weekly recap as we're getting ready to close out not episode 1, but the first episode of season 2. And then look at the Colts and Packers game, and it was not pretty at all. The sun wasn't out when this happened, but a 38-13 loss for us on week number 1. Certainly not what we need, but I mean, sometimes it happens, and it's early season jitters for Riley Leonard. Hopefully he can clean it up in weeks number 2 and 3 against the Jaguars and the Eagles respectively. Next we'll see the Lions and the Dolphins. Sauce Gardner making his Lions debut, and while I won't see a highlight from him, the Lions do pick up the victory, 31-15 victory for the Lions, as Amon-Ra St. Brown playing pinball with the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins will lose on opening week. Tua Tagovailoa's job is at risk because in real life, of course, as you know, he got released in the sense of the Falcons. So kind of crazy there. And then the Bears and the Titans, Cam Ward and Caleb Williams, 2 first or number 1 picks in the draft. Well, I don't think Cam was number 1, but I can't remember. But Cam Ward on the move fires into the end zone to Tony Pollard. It's not Tony Pollard. I'm blind. But either way, the Titans will claim victory 28-25. I think that's Chigakonkwo. No, that's I'm stupid. I can't read. It's Brown. But either way, the Titans will win on opening week. Pretty interesting there. That will do it for the weekly recap for week number 1. Like I said, this episode is only going to be week number 1 because it's opening week. Interesting matchups. The Giants lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, remember, they did not pick a quarterback in the draft. Gardner Minshew, the former Jag, is starting. Jackson Dart, not a pretty game, but certainly not that bad. Caleb Johnson is their running back. He outplayed Tyrone Tracy by a margin. Malik Neighbors with 2 touchdowns. The only touchdowns from the Giants. The Seahawks would end up losing to Dallas. Cincinnati got the win over Houston. Jacksonville gets torched by New England. We saw the Jets and the Falcons games in which the Jets got beat and the Falcons got torched. Jacksonville, who will play next, lose 21-6. A lack of offense from the Jaguars, surprisingly. Drake May, who we made a superstar development player, outplays them. The running game is pretty inconsistent in Madden. But Pat Rucker, the Jaguars' rookie receiver, leads the way in yardage. And Rondale Moore, rest in peace, he has passed as of the day that I am editing this video. So rest in peace to Rondale Moore. Looking at Juwan Stewart's stats, 2 interceptions. He did not have a pretty game against the Bills. Not really the best team to go up against in your rookie debut. Breece Hall was solid. Had all 3 touchdowns for the Jacksonville for the New York Jets. Garrett Wilson was a no-show in this game. The Rams got close but could not get the best of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But Elton Cunningham, a solid start. Over 300 yards for 3 touchdowns. Darrell Black in his first game of his career was pretty solid on the ground as well. Tank Dell led this team in receiving yards. He's the new addition next to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. So hopefully he'll continue to do that, especially since he didn't play last year much with the with the Texans. But that'll do it for this episode of the Indianapolis Colts franchise. Unfortunately, it did end up in a loss against the Packers, but it is opening week and does give us a chance to figure things out. Also, the Tennessee Titans lead the AFC South. Kind of crazy considering they're probably the worst team on paper, but the episodes are still going to be formatted the same. We're still going to have 2 game episodes. I am trying to figure out how to format these, and trust me, I know I say this all the time. These won't take as long as they normally do, but hopefully you guys like and subscribe. You guys enjoy the content. This is Minnesota Mafia. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.